Mr. Yip Hon Weng.
Madam Deputy Speaker, this bill is a welcomed move. Many Singaporeans, when travelling abroad, will have seen how national flags are quite freely used on apparel and luggage bags. Hence, some of them would question why other countries can be liberal with their use of national symbols, whilst what is permitted in other countries may not be allowed in Singapore. As such, I welcome the overarching objectives of Clause 14 of the bill, which allows the President to create such regulations relating to our national symbols as the President deems fit. However, I have some clarifications on the bill and the proposed regulations. First, Madam Deputy Speaker, there should be more clarity on the use and design guidelines for national symbols. I believe this will be met with the flexibility of making the regulations pursuant to the bill. One problematic area is that of commercial advertisements. There were instances in the past where the lion head symbol was used to promote products and services which had no relations with the government. Often the symbol was used for innocuous purposes, such as to highlight that the product was made in Singapore. However, such usage may have created the misimpression that the products and services had some form of official endorsement. Under the current circumstances, what if the users were to use part of the symbol, or, for example, to use the symbol in different colors as they try to circumvent the rules? We also need more comprehensive guidelines for the use of the flag's image without requiring official approval on attire, decoration, and products. Without clear guidelines, businesses may misuse our national symbols to give the impression that a product or service is authorized by the government. For example, if security guards who do not work for government services or public agencies have been spotted with the flag emblem on their uniforms, would that or should that be an offence? It is pertinent to reduce ambiguity. This is to ensure that the rules can be properly endorsed, but without the need to constantly consult the relevant bodies or burden them with onerous approval processes. Second, Madam Deputy Speaker, how specific will the proposed regulations be with regards to the use of national symbols? Also, as equally important, how will penalties be enforced? The interpretation of designs can be highly contentious. Something that is considered disrespectful to someone may be interpreted in an entirely different manner by another. Would there be a framework to provide guidance to our designers? Does the government intend to get experts to provide views on this assessment? If a notice is served on an offender, what is the timeline given to remove the offending act before enforcement action is taken? How many cases were prosecuted under the Singapore Arms and Flag and National Anthem Act and rules for such offences in the past? Related to this, should there be a need to define use and what offences can carry a prosecution? Is the bill also intended to cover the use of the national symbols in documents, for example? Third, Madam Deputy Speaker, I wish to share some concerns specifically with regards to our national flag. A question I would like to raise is whether social groups are allowed to use the national flag and other national emblems in their activities. While this could ostensibly be perceived as a patriotic gesture, it could in fact be an attempt to gain wider public support for their activity and their causes. These groups may be locally registered as a society or as a Singapore chapter of a global organization. They could also be simply a group with a common cause. Next, there are buildings where you have several flagpoles lined up in a row. May I ask the Minister, when our national flag is flown on the flagpole, can a social group fly its flag at the next flagpole alongside our national flag? I raise this because it could mislead the public into giving the impression that the government stands alongside a social group and its beliefs. Flag desecration is a serious offence. We have read of instances where people have burnt decorations put up for National Day and arrests have been made by the police. Last year, a 24-year-old man was charged with cutting and damaging multiple National Day parade banners. And most recently, a 39-year-old man set a flag on fire and he was arrested. May I ask whether it is an offence for the image of our flag and national emblems to be put on paraphernalia which is used for offerings for religious activities, say during the Hungry Ghost Festival or any other festivals. A person can also use this as an anti-government gesture under the pretext of practicing his or her religious belief. Lastly, Madam Deputy Speaker, Singapore is a young nation. As we journey along, there may be new symbols being introduced. Does the new legislation cover the addition of new symbols? How will the National Emblems Control of Display Act 1949 be amended? In conclusion, Madam Deputy Speaker, our national flag and emblems are more than just visual representations. Our national flag especially represents the values and ideals that we hold dear. When we are children, we are taught to stand and put our hands over our hearts, facing our national flag, and say the national pledge in school. And we stood to sing the national anthem. Our children, including my children, continue this practice today. Respect for our national symbols is consistent across economic, racial, and religious grounds. Our national symbols are emblems of our unity, our thoughts, our purpose as a nation. These symbols are not mere pieces of decoration, nor objects to be honored for themselves. They are honored for what they represent. The use of our national flag and symbols thus offer opportunities for Singaporeans to express our patriotism. And such patriotism is more important now than ever before. After 57 years, we are at a crossroads in our nation's journey. Our social compact must evolve and respond to both opportunities and challenges. Through the Forward Singapore exercise, we must come together, examine our values and aspirations, build consensus, and in doing so, refresh our social compact. Our national symbols play an important and unifying role. It allows us to demonstrate our patriotism and express pride in our unique multicultural and multi-religious society. I support the bill. Thank you.